You just rubbed your, you just like, eyebrows all crazy. Why do you do that?
Hey everyone, welcome back to the show. Thanks for tuning in for another episode. I have the one and only Sara joining in today because one thing that was very apparent to me, both at Redcrest as well as the Bassmaster Classic, is that a lot of you guys like to have Sara on the video. So
Me. Hi.
I figured we would bring her in, have a little recap video of the Redcrest / Bassmaster Classic, kind of talk about some differences, some things that maybe one can do better, some things that are lacking, that type of thing. What do you think?
Sounds good. Let's do it.
All right. So one thing right off the bat, Sara was at Redcrest.
Yep.
She was not at the Classic, so she did
Nope.
not. She was not able to compare them. But I want to know your take on Redcrest from a family / friend consumer of the event.
Well, I have been to a number of Forest Wood Cups. So even though I haven't been to the big dance, I haven't been to the the Bassmaster Classic. Compared to the Forest Wood Cups, Redcrest was fun. I'm glad we got an invite. You got invited because you won at lacrosse, obviously. So that's why we're there. It was a good time. I always love being able to be with you in person, cheering you on. I love being able to go to the launches. There wasn't a whole lot of fanfare. Like it was, I think because there's no weigh-in and you know exactly where you stand throughout the course of the whole day. There wasn't like this build up and anticipation. I remember sitting in like the theaters, or not theaters, but like the stadiums or whatever for the Forest Wood Cups. And you'd be like, like someone would come on stage and be like, yes, we're ahead of him. Okay, he didn't catch him, And then you'd be like, all right, we're still in 13th place or whatever, right? And you didn't know you were going to end until the end of that day, until the end of the weigh-in. We didn't have any of that. So that was kind of...
Yeah, as from an angler standpoint, I felt the same way. Like that was always the coolest thing with the Forest Wood Cup, and having seen the Classic, the final day weigh-in is just, if a bass fisherman's ever going to feel like a rock star, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't matter if it was the Forest Wood Cup or the Classic. An angler goes up there and they've got an entire arena full of people. Like, the Forest Wood Cup, there wouldn't be an empty seat in the whole place. The entire stadium was filled. So from that standpoint, I missed that. Like, I really missed that because, for us, it was, you drive to the lake with Redcrest, you launch at the lake, and there were some people there in the morning.
There were, but not like a lot.
No.
I saw coverage of Bassmaster Classic, and they showed the launch. And
there's a cat looking in our window.
She wants in. But yeah, the coverage that I saw from the live, there was easily 10 times as many people at the launch for Bassmaster Classic as there was for Redcrest. Redcrest was primarily just family and friends. And there were some, I would say there was some media, there were some sponsors. But there were, from what I could tell, it was just primarily, just people standing around talking to their own angler.
It doesn't help when the lake was an hour and 15 minutes away. So if people are staying, say where this downtown city expo was, which is where, in my case, half the anglers were staying, there's not a lot of good flow of people back and forth. I do think with the Classic, having watched it and seen what would happen, it seemed like a lot of those people went to the takeoff and then hightailed it right back into Tulsa and went to the expo. It? Well, and that was probably about an hour as well. So it was not close either for that event. But everything else was going on at Tulsa. So when I got off the water, the day was over.
We're done.
There really wasn't anyone there to, there were some people to do interviews and stuff like that.
But even then, the the big interviews took place in Birmingham. Like you had to drive.
Well, that's the thing. So the people never came out to the lake because everything was going back on in Birmingham. So if there were people at the Redcrest Expo, they're not going to drive out to watch the anglers come in and then drive back in for like angler interviews. So there was never really any reason for the people to go out to the lake. With the Classic, it seemed like you did have a good number of people that went out to the lake for takeoff, and then they went back into Tulsa because they knew they had the expo, and then the weigh-in was going to be there. So there was a much better home base in terms of like for the event to take place. And I don't know how you fix that. I really don't know, like with respect to Redcrest, I don't know how you make it more fan friendly. I mean, I realized they brought anglers onto stage at the expo, and the expo was decent. Like I thought the expo it actually was better than what I was expecting.
Yeah, I would agree.
You know, they had 2 really giant rooms, a lot of traffic, a lot of people that were there, at least during the peak times.
It is also nice at the same time, in some respects, to know where you are and not have a weigh-in, because that's a drawback of a traditional format is, you know, it takes so long to go through. I mean, we were watching the final day of the Bassmaster Classic. Hank and Duke and I were in the den watching it, and we had dinner in there. And we were in there for, I don't even know, 2.5 hours. I mean, it was,
and with that, if you recall from the Forest Wood Cups, same thing happens at the Classic, especially the first 2 days of the tournament. When your guy weighs in, people leave. So like you're an hour in and all of a sudden your person that you're waiting for comes in and weighs in. You get like these little sections of people that leave. So if you are an angler, I always felt bad for the anglers that weighed in towards the end, because you'd walk out on stage the first 2 days and there would be like a quarter of what was there to start the day. Now that's not the same on the final day, but it is something that just shows again how, you know, the weigh-in is great on the final day. And this is an issue I think we talk about, you know, whether it's BPT events or classic events. You know, when you have multi-day tournaments, the only real day that matters to the fans is the final day, because that's where the winner is going to be dictated. You know, the first day of the tournament, people like to look at the results and see where you're at, but there's not that same level of overall intent to watch the entire event. It's where am I at, or where are the people at, and then they go on. The final day is when a lot of people really tune in to want to watch the weigh-ins. But I will say, like from a championship format, I think the weigh-in is a very important thing to have, because it just centers everybody into a certain place, which I think is really good. And in the case of the Classic in Tulsa this week, the weigh-in center, the arena, was across the street from the expo. So everybody was in that 2-block radius, which was a very valuable thing. So I don't know how.
At least we still don't have co-anglers. Remember we had co-anglers in those championships? I'd be like, oh my gosh, it would be the longest thing ever.
Yeah, they were long.
Yeah, they were so long. Anywho.
What were some of your takeaways from Redcrest, like things that you really did like? Or not like, or compare it to, say, the Forest Wood Cup? We haven't talked at all about what we were going to say, so I have no idea.
I haven't even really seen this man in the last like 2 weeks. I swear. Okay, so what did I like? I loved our house. Our house, we had a house on Lay Lake. That was part of the problem. The drawback is we were an hour south of of Birmingham. So the boys and we flew in on Wednesday, and we met up with Matt, and we went through the receiving line or whatever. Registration, and got a bunch of cool free stuff. And the boys were in heaven because they got cookies and hats and the flashlights. Oh my gosh, Miller Tech, you made their week. I mean, it was insane. But yeah, so the drawback was we were an hour south. So we had these grandiose ideas of going to the zoo and going to, you know, some other places while you were fishing. But, you know, it just wasn't conducive to travel when we were tired. And So that kind of stunk on our end. It was nice because we were on the lake because it was beautiful, and we were only 15 minutes from the
Takeoff.
beeswax park where you guys did takeoff, and that was really fun because I got the boys up on the first day of the competition, and we came down to the launch. That's my favorite part of any tournament is launch. I love launches, and they had never been to a launch because it's just always too early, and they've been too young, and we haven't really been to a tournament recently where that's at a launch.
With a launch.
So that was really nice. The Thunderbolt ball was a nice little perk. Little less fanfare there as well than the fancy dinners that we used to get at the Forest Wood Cup.
Yeah, no, it was just a +1 event. In the past with the Forest Wood Cup dinners, we've always had like a table, so like I could have.
You could just bring as many people as you wanted. It wasn't even a
Well,
table.
I don't know if it was unlimited, but I mean,
we've sat at tables with lots of different
I'm
people.
pretty sure we had designated tables.
No, we didn't.
Each angler had a table. No,
No, because we sat the one year we sat next to
Larry Nixon.
Did we?
Yeah, the general. That was when Hank dirtied his diaper, and Larry leaned over and he's like, "It's okay, I've been there before." And Hank stunk the whole room up in his diaper.
Oh gosh, yeah, that was bad. No, I was gonna say the Japanese guy. I can't think of his name right now.
Shin?
Yeah, Shin Fukai and his wife, and she is a hoot, man.
Yeah.
Your mom and dad would always come.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, so the thing that was less fanfare about that is they always had Chris Jones would always be there, like talking to people as they're coming in. They had a backdrop and like, "Hey, look at it's Matt Steffen coming in."
It was a red carpet.
Yeah, it was a red carpet, and there was an opportunity for like photos, and this was just like melodramatic. It was just like you walked down to the bottom of an escalator, you went around a corner, there was a sign that said Thunderbolt Ball, and you walked into the room.
Yeah, it was like walking into a wedding.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that was great. They did a great job.
Yeah.
Like
They didn't have desserts.
Well,
That was a
there
faux
was
pas.
no dessert table, but the food was great. Like they had
good.
great open bar. Like the way it was set up. I mean, Kevin Van Dam gave a speech. Like
It was great. Kevin's speech was
did.
great.
I very much enjoyed the Thunderbolt Ball night. Like
We got to sit with Matt Becker because he was Angler of the Year, and so he got to have whomever he wanted at his table. So we sat and got center stage for his speech, and center stage for Kevin Van Dam's speech. Kevin's speech was fantastic. I really liked his speech. Matt Becker did a really good job too.
Yeah, that was a fun night. I would recommend not to have it on the second night of the tournament.
Yeah.
Which I guess they always do. I understand some of the reasoning behind it, but at the same time, it's like, man, the anglers that made the cut were pressured to have.
I think most of them weren't even there.
Yeah,
I mean, looking back, I'm like, I don't think there was just no, like you said, you wouldn't have had time to charge your batteries. Because if you made it to that third day, to get down to Birmingham, to do the interviews, to then go to the ball didn't start till 7:30, and Matt's speech I think was at like 9. So I think we left at like
it was
10.
It was a long, even for the anglers that were there, like myself, that got knocked out. I mean, we were exhausted. Like energy level was lower than where it could have been.
Yeah.
So I like that. I didn't really like that. What I would recommend doing is putting that on the last night of practice, so that you could enjoy yourself, be out late, and then the next day is an off day to get ready and do what you need to do to get prepped for fishing. So that would be one suggestion I had. And I don't know what happened at the Classic. I know they had like a tournament, a night of champions, and I think they had a big dinner as well. Those are always fun events because they're anglers getting together with family, and I do like that quite a bit.
You get to see people without their hats on. I will say one other thing about the registration day. So we got to go through and the boys got stuff and whatever. I will give a major shout out to Toyota. So they were a big sponsor of the event. And as we were going through the line, like I'm just kind of standing behind the boys, like I've got bags and stuff and carrying snacks and water bottles and whatever. And the woman at the Toyota table leans through and has this little bag and she gives it directly to me. And I was like, what's this? She's like, that's for you. And so they gave all the wives or significant others a Kendra Scott necklace and some Mary Kay stuff, which was a really nice touch because we don't, I've always heard the Bassmaster Classic wives get jewelry and, you know, get things. I had never gotten anything specifically meant for me. So that that left a very lasting mark.
I don't need anything for your birthday then. You've got Kendra Scott jewelry. So did it have the Toyota symbol on it?
No.
Oh, that would be cool.
No, it wouldn't. The necklace was nice enough. But it was kind of a status symbol at the same time because throughout the course of the event, you would see other women at the expo. Like at the expo on Saturday when we were walking through. Yeah. There was Brittany had hers on.
So the women. So you wore? Did you wear it? So
I do believe I wore it on Saturday for the expo because it was like a. Oh,
it's like,
there
you're
you
a
are.
wife.
Yeah.
I don't know who you are, but I know you know somebody.
Well, you knew a lot of them because, oh my gosh, the attire, the wives' attire has jumped a substantial amount. I mean, the custom painted jackets with Adriana Vina and Canal and Brittany Becker and her custom made bedazzled, bejeweled.
Shoes.
Yeah, she's got shoes. I mean, like,
You don't even have a jersey.
I need to step it up. No, I don't. That's not my fault.
I know what I'm getting for your birthday now. Yeah, there is some. The ladies got their crickets going.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Ah, man. Yeah, I don't know. So I will say between the two expos, the one thing I did notice was there goes Matt Lazarski.
That is a cold day to be on the river. On his pontoon. It is snowing today.
It's 30 degrees out. He's out there.
At most 30 degrees.
Catching walleyes. Taps and tackle. If you watch my channel, he's a local guy.
I'm Maddie.
Anyways, I do feel like at the Classic Expo, there's a lot more free stuff. Like I feel like Hank and Duke would absolutely have a blast, like running around getting autographs. Like there were tons and tons of kids that were just like, I'm pretty sure they had no idea who like I was, but because I was in a jersey, it's like autograph. And I mean, I was getting hats and shirts that were so full of autographs that like you couldn't even find a place to write it. So then eventually I'd just start, if I saw Matt Becker's name, I would start writing over Matt Becker's name. But
that's very nice of you.
No, I didn't do that, but he did it to me.
That was another highlight of the Redcrest. We
highlight?
We got an autograph on the truck.
It's not a highlight. I'll put that in. Probably most people know that. Yeah, Hank found a Matt Becker autograph on my truck, which I thought
Sharpie.
Was well played.
Was well played.
Well played. I wonder if he's looked at the roof of his truck yet.
Did you do it? You did.
Oh yeah, I took a paint can. Matt.
You did not.
Staff and across the whole top. Anyways, I do want to take the boys to a Classic. I think they would really like that. There was a lot of good stuff. We'll have to go to Dallas next year. You want to go to Dallas?
What time of year is it?
Probably the same time.
So it won't be like blisteringly hot.
No, I think it could be cold in Dallas.
Really?
Dallas isn't that. It's barely south of Tulsa. A couple hours.
Okay.
Yeah. Would you come? Would you go to the Bassmaster Classic just for a family vacation?
Well, here's the thing.
Go.
It wouldn't. It wouldn't be a vacation, because here's why. This is the same thing that happened at Redcrest. You are working.
I wouldn't work all day. I'd be in a few booths for a few hours.
Okay, but I mean, like Redcrest, I was a single parent. Most of the time, I was there in a strange town in a house that wasn't our own, with a grocery store that wasn't closer than 25 minutes. So. Preparedness wise, I had to be on my A game to make sure that we were our children were fed and
be
rested
fine.
and no, I'm not saying it would be fine. But what I'm saying is I don't really necessarily think I would qualify that or classify that as a vacation. Unless, you know, I had a spa day, which I wouldn't do. But
well, I could probably let you go do something and I could take the kids.
yes.
But
And that's also like negates the idea of a family vacation if we're not
you need
together.
to show them your white shoes.
No, I'm not showing my shoes.
Show them your white shoes. She bought a new pair of shoes.
They're wide toe bed.
Yeah, wide. Just take them up. Come
No,
on.
no.
Why? You're
Because
embarrassed.
you're just gonna
about
make fun of me.
It looks like she's got Bozo the Clown shoes. Why do you have those?
Because my toes have been sore lately, and it's a wide toe
Probably
bed.
because of the shoes you wore at Redcrest.
No, Matthew.
Winner.
They're wide toe bed. They're better and more functionally fit for our foot than trying to shove our feet into traditionally made shoes.
How do you feel about this?
Oh gosh, here we go.
So I was watching a guy who was outside barefoot and he was holding one of those electricity meter things and he could see that he was grounding in the ground. So like when he was holding it, it was showing electricity flowing through him. So there's a sheet you put on your bed that you plug into the wall that's supposed to ground you.
A grounding
So
piece?
it's the same as standing outside in the ground while you're grounding. You're doing it while you're sleeping.
Yes.
Give me your take.
Where did you see this guy barefoot grounding?
It was a commercial or something.
Oh, okay. So it wasn't like you saw him with your.
It was a commercial for the bed sheet.
Okay. Well, I've never known anyone
Should
to
we
like
be
have an
ground-
ohm meter.
Should we
like-
be an ohm meter? I think
Or,
that's for
like, whatever.
finding ghosts.
Okay, you're right. But a meter that shows like electricity running through your body. It's not like he was getting electrocuted.
I don't know that I want to sleep on a mattress or a bed sheet that was plugged into the wall.
It's really kind of funny because I have a bed sheet at my office right now that someone brought to me because it's a grounding bed sheet and it's got a whole kit that goes with it.
Okay.
But it's for a double or a
So what is this supposed to do?
grounding.
Yeah.
It reconnects you to the earth, so you get to get rid of electrons and like bring your body back to a better balance, like energetically speaking.
Okay.
There's a lot of benefits to grounding.
Anything else you want to add, or we're gonna end
I
this?
mean, you brought this up.
Yeah,
I
I
didn't
did.
have anything to do with
It's
this.
because of your wide shoes.
My toes don't hurt in them.
I mean, they're not bad looking shoes.
They're also, I think, one size too big, but they're from Amazon, so
Send them back.
it just wasn't worth it.
All right. I hope you got your fill of Sara. Thank you for watching. We'll have more of her in the future.
Adios, amigos.